October 23rd, 2004. My grandma was an interesting woman. I could say so much about her, but I don't want to have multiple videos just about her, at least for the moment. She told great stories, which I loved listening to, and would even ask to hear them again over again. I know. Who likes hearing their grandmother tell the same stories a million times? I did. Why? Well, her stories constantly change, so each time the story would be slightly different, and at times the story would change completely. My cousin Jean and I both have different versions of her stories, depending on how many times we listen to her. Her occupation the entire 16 years I knew her was manager of the complaint department. She loves a bitch, yet the woman was just so wonderful. If you were family, as she was, a really loving woman once you spent enough time with her. I was very close to her and would sit on the floor next to her recliner while she told her stories. What was so amazing was that despite living in remission with breast cancer, she survived another 15 healthy years until she died of bone cancer. This was, of course, as you can guess by the previous two stories, a hard hit for me. What was funny was I did not cry when she died. I cried the day she was brought to hospital in terrible pain. There's a very particular reason for this. I knew she was already dead. Her last month and a half was just agony for her. She wouldn't get better, so I mourned her in September. At her funeral, I did something I hated doing while she was alive. I gave her a kiss. I was, of course, an age where I didn't want to kiss my grandma, and now I wish I could do it. At her burial, I served as a pallbearer. There were enough men, and I felt I needed to be part of her return to the earth. This really made school hard. I couldn't focus, my grades slipped, I couldn't even go to class. Fortunately, I was in a special program in high school that gave me specialized classes, which picked me up. Still, I miss the kooky old woman and smile when I think of her. December 3rd, 2014. The hardest day of my life. My 15-and-a-half-year-old dog Casper, my bestest buddy in the whole wide world, had to be put to sleep. He had been on anti-seizure medications and had liver cancer. His last 7 months were a gift as he almost died in April after having a grand mal seizure, but he fought on. Unfortunately, he had a massive stroke which paralyzed half his body. Knowing there was nothing more to be done, my mother and I brought him to the vet to be put to sleep. I'd hardened my heart a bit and tried not to show emotions, but this made me do something I hadn't done since my grandma was brought to the hospital. I cried. In the vet's office. In front of people. Just the thought of never being able to play with him, snuggle with him, to read to him, to watch cartoons with him, it was just such a strong blow, it broke my heart and heart. Then I was asked if I wanted to cremate him or bury him. I made a tough choice. I want him buried, for two reasons. The first is I couldn't stand the thought of Casper's body being burned, the second being my history of rage and smashing. I wouldn't want to go manic and smash his urn, as I lose control and I don't care what I smash. I wouldn't want to go manic and smash. I don't want that to happen. And I thought he would be happier being buried with other animals. I thought of what Casper would want, and did it for him. There's a chance I may talk about him in another video about losing a pet, and offer advice and hope, but for now I'll leave it at that. It's hard when your best buddy is gone. Another thing that hit me was that I'd never lost anyone living in the same house with me. Everywhere I looked in the house, I expected to hear him, to see him, to hear him, to be able to play with him. Then I realized he was gone, and went into a heavier depression. It took a long time to get used to, and I still miss him every second of every single day, but I move forward, because I know that's what Casper would want me to do. Rest in peace, buddy. So, there you have it. The most difficult times of my life have just been bared to you, and all the internet. Why would I do that? Because I want you to understand what depression is, and ways for you to move on. I'm not going to patronize you with all of the things you think to say to someone in this situation. Those who watch all three segments of Robin Williams Part 4, Suicide, know that those don't really help. To my viewers who want to know more about depression, their symptoms, the definition, and strategies to get through them, please go back and watch Robin Williams Part 1, Depression. I also hope that my added humor did not harm my point. If it did, I apologize. For now, this is enough. Be sure to come back next time to talk about bipolar disorder again. Until then, Tim Cummin, out.